Hey guys, this is Will from Table the Game, and I want to first apologize. It's been a long time since I've posted anything. So I have been doing a lot of traveling. I've been in South Carolina. We had to go to San Angelo, Texas to visit a friend of mine. We got back from there and we went on an 8-day cruise. I'm not complaining about that. It was about 8 days. We just got back from there, and so basically for about a month I've been gone. I had very little time to do anything. I haven't really played a lot of new games, and I definitely don't want to bring anything to you that I haven't played or anything like that. So here we go. I definitely want to get some of these giveaways taken care of. I love giving these games away. I love the interaction when you guys are commenting and giving me your feedback. I really enjoy that. I also want to thank a few of you guys that have reached out to me, checked on me. That means a whole lot. So let's get into it. Right here I actually have 4 different Cascadia games. We're going to rank these games. Now in this box I have Cascadia Landmarks, which is an expansion. Inside of here, if you know, I have the base game. I needed to consolidate. My Cascadia box got messed up, so I've consolidated. And then these are the games we're giving away. We got Cascadia Rolling Hills and Cascadia Rolling Rivers. We're going to be giving these away, and here they are. I got 2 Rolling Rivers, and I got 2 games of Rolling Hills. That's a total of 4 games we're giving away to 4 subscribers. I'm excited. This is a big giveaway, so 4 of you guys will win. We'll go over those details in a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank these games. So they're all good. Okay, so I am going to rate my favorite down to my least favorite, which I like all of them. And so let's get into it. Basically, the first game, and what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go over some basic mechanics. Cascadia is a game that's been around for a long time. It is a family staple in my house. What I love about Cascadia in general is that it's a game that I think anybody can play. Gamers that love intense strategy games can have a good time playing Cascadia. Also, someone that's not into games at all can come in and learn. It may seem a little overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it's pretty simple, and anybody can learn it, and I think everyone can have a good time with it. It is an excellent game, and I'm just very happy that they are continuing developing more games. So let me put this aside. So this is going to be a very basic overview of each game. I'm just going to go over a couple components, a couple things about each game, and then I'm going to rank them for you. So let's go over Cascadia, the normal game. So there's a few different components that you're dealing with in the game. Number 1 is you have wildlife scoring cards. Okay, this is actually a scoring card for the expansion Landmarks. But so one thing that I really enjoy about Cascadia is that every game, I believe there's 5 animals, and each game you're going to pick a different scoring card. And so you're going for something different. Your strategy is going to change every game. I love that in games when things change and you're not playing the same game. And Cascadia really does that well when it comes to scoring. Okay. Now on your turn, you're going to grab a couple things. You're going to grab a habitat tile, which there's 2 types in the base game. There is the keystone tile. So this just has 1 habitat, and then there is a dual habitat tile that has 2. And you can see. They have an animal that allows you to put, an animal on this tile. So when you grab a tile, you're also going to grab a matching animal. And I'm not going to kind of go into how that all works, but you're going to grab 2 of them. Okay. Now, if you can place it anywhere on your board, you're going to place this, and you're going to start building your own habitat. And so every game's different. So when you grab this tile, you're going to place it on there like that. And the cool thing about these keystone tiles is when you place your animal on a keystone tile, then you get a wildlife token. And those tokens can allow you to do some different things in the game. They score points within the game. They allow you to switch up what kind of animal you pick. You don't have to pick the animal that's next to the tile in your row. And so those are some basic mechanisms, some basic components of Cascadia. Now let's go over Cascadia Landmarks. So here are the differences. It's basically the same game as Cascadia, except for they add a few things. So one of the big changes is the habitat tiles. they added tiles that have 3 habitats in them. So as you're building your tiles, you gain points. When you're placing tiles, as you connect a certain habitat, like this mountain, as you build mountains and you connect multiple mountains together, you gain more points. And so when they did this, they allowed for more habitats for you to choose from. Okay, then the big one, where the namesake of the game, landmarks, is these landmarks. They have different types of landmarks. It goes forest, wetlands, prairies, mountains, and rivers. So this is the mountain landmark. So depending on how many players there are, you're going to set out, these are mountain landmark bonus cards. So let's say you're playing a 3-player game, you're going to set out 3 mountain landmark bonus cards, 3 wetlands, 3 rivers, and so on. And so when you connect your 5th habitat on your personal board, so when you did like 5 mountains, then instead of placing your animal on that tile, you can grab a landmark and place it on that tile that you just did your 5th or greater connection point of the habitats, and then you can go into the pile. So let's say you're the first person to put a landmark, then you get to choose from one of 3 bonus cards, and and each one gives you different things. You can decide what you want. Each person can only pick 1 landmark per group, so you can only get 1 mountain, you can only get 1 river, and so on. And then the wildlife scoring cards, they did make them more difficult. They added extra ones. I believe they added 4 additional wildlife scoring cards per animal, and they are a little more difficult, more intense to score, and you have to think a little bit harder to do that. So that is Cascadia Landmarks. All right, guys, we are going to finish this off, and we're going to go over 2 great games. We have Cascadia Rolling Hills and Cascadia Rolling Rivers. So here's how I'm going to rank these. I'm going to combine these as one game, and here's why. In my opinion, they're very similar games. They could have made one big game. They decided to make 2. So you can buy these separately, but you can also, if you buy both of them, you can play these together. You can mix both games together, and it doesn't really change anything in regards to like rules. So I'm going to rank these as one game. Also, I have played these games the least amount out of all the Cascadia games, so I do know the least amount about these. So I'm going to do my best, but here we go. All right, so at the beginning of each round, there's 3 different types of dice. There are central dice, 3 central dice. There's 1 unique central dice. Okay, and these, every round, someone's going to roll the 3 central dice and the 1 unique central dice, and everyone's going to play off of those. Okay. Also, everyone's going to have 2 of their own dice. And so as you roll those, you're going to choose, there's going to be different animals that are going to pop up. And you get to decide, number 1, what animal are you looking to build your habitats with? And number 2, which one has the most amount of animals? So it depends. If you need a specific animal, you may choose a smaller amount. If you are looking for just straight numbers, what animal gives you the most points? Okay, so now there's also different rules. Sometimes you can actually have a second animal type, and you can do that. I'm not going to go over all that today. Okay, now everyone has a tally sheet. You start the game off with one of each animal. And so let's say you're going off of bears. Let's say you're trying to collect bears. And in that roll, you rolled a bear and the central dice has 2 bears. Now that's a total of 3 bears. You're going to notate that on your tally sheet. So animals are kind of like currency in this game. All right, so what do you guys do with all these animals? So you are going to have these habitat cards that you're going to flip over. At the beginning of the round, you're going to flip over 1 of them. Now at the end of that round, you're going to move this over to the side and you're going to flip over another one. And then eventually you're going to have 4 of these. There's always only going to be 4 of these habitat cards out. Now the 5th round, this one's going to drop off. You're never going to see it again. So you're going to have 4 rounds to score on this. If you're trying to score, then once it's gone, it's gone. And you're going to have to continually kind of look at these cards and determine what you need, what animals you need to score. Now here's how you score. So this card here needs a bear, a fox, and a fish. And when you do, you're going to score 1 river, and you're going to get 2 nature tokens. Okay, so how you notate this is there are environment sheets. Now there's 4 of these different environment sheets. This is an easy one, and they get more difficult. And so you would just notate, the number 1 And then, of course, your nature tokens as well. There's spots to notate all this. Now, it gets harder. This is a very simple, a level 1. They start to require more animals, and you get more points as the game goes on. Also in the same row as the habitat cards is these completion cards here. There's 2 different types. There's the brown ones. These are bonus cards. So if you score a habitat card when there's a completion card on top of it, you're gonna get the bonus. The blue ones are discounts. So they actually, there's different ways that they can discount what you need to get that card. So anyway, that is the game in a nutshell. I know there's a lot more to it. This is not really a rules teach. So I hope that didn't confuse everybody. Like I said, that is the game that I'm the least familiar with. But here we go. So let's rank these games here, okay? So we got Cascadia, the base games in here. We also have Landmarks that's in here. And then we have Rolling Rivers and Rolling Hills. So, all right, so let's go over the game that I think is that I could, if I didn't have to play it, it'd be fine. Like I said, I love all the Cascadia games, but the one that I could do without is Landmarks. And let me explain why. The biggest reason is this right here, okay? Those 3 habitats on that tile makes it extremely difficult to create a pretty board. So Cascadia, I don't even have to win in Cascadia. If I step up and take a look at my board when I'm done, I've completed all these different habitats. I want it to be extremely pretty. I want all the habitats to be connected together. I don't want it to be mixed match. And this just makes it extremely difficult to do that. When you have these 3 different habitats, you end up really segmenting things, and you have to break the habitat a lot, and so that I didn't necessarily like. Also, my opinion on expansions is a lot of times expansions just create, well, I mean, there's different things that expansions do, and Landmarks just creates, when you add the landmarks, that just creates an extra mechanism that makes it just a little harder. And Cascadia is not a hard game, so it's not super bad, but I don't necessarily need that in a game, I don't need it to be harder necessarily. So Landmarks it would be in last place of these great games. Okay, let's go over our second place. So second place is Rolling Rivers and Rolling Hills. So you guys might have guessed it. Number 1, I mean, I just haven't played the game a lot, so I really am not as familiar with it. But I really don't think it's ever going to overtake Cascadia, which of course, since we're talking about 3 games here, you guys already know number 1. I'll go over that in a second. But roll and write games are fun, but I really consider them more filler games. And of course, Cascadia being just a classic, it's really hard to beat. It's a great game. There's a lot to it. And I enjoy the decisions that you have to make. One of the things I really love about it is the habitat scoring cards. As they move on each round, that card's about to drop off. After it's on the 4th row, it's going to drop off the next round. If you've been trying to get the animals to be able to score that card, you only have so much time to do that before it drops off. I love that about it. Okay, but that is number 2. All right, then of course, number 1 is the base game of Cascadia, just a classic. It's fun, it's relaxing. Anybody can play. I mean, I can play with my little kids. My 11-year-old, she's my youngest, and she has a great time. She can even win or even do well. But there's still, you make this pretty board. That's my favorite part. I still get up and take a picture of it, if I do a really good job. So Cascadia is great. All right, guys. So let's talk about this giveaway. We have 4 of these games to give away. 2 Rolling Rivers and 2 Rolling Hills. And so all you got to do is just comment, what is your guys' favorite roll and write, flip and write game? I'd like to know. Mine is welcome too. It's my favorite. These games are great as well, but just let me know exactly what you like, and I'm going to choose, out of the 4, which ones I think are the most interesting games. I'm just going to pick them. And I'm going to contact you guys. Please make sure that you put your notifications on so that if I do message you, you get them. And then, of course, we'll get emails and different things like that. So, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching this. Once again, I'm sorry that it's taken so long to get this video made. and I can't wait to get these games in your hands. And until next time, I appreciate you guys and have a wonderful and blessed day.